Okay, there's so much talk about the, you know, economic meltdown, the Great Depression, the economic cataclysm. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone knows we're in the midst of something big, something that's never happened to this magnitude in the world, let alone the United States before. But let's just run through this from a trucker's perspective for a second. I've only been driving a truck for a couple years, but I can tell you from never driving a truck before to driving a truck before that I've learned a lot. I think if you don't drive a truck, if you're not involved some way, if you don't know something about the transportation industry, whether you're involved or not, then you'd probably be surprised at a lot of basic things. So let me just give you a typical day in the life of a trucker, and I'll make this fast, and I'll use myself for an example. I'm on what they call a dedicated route, which means I pick up pretty much the exact same product 90% of the time, and I drive it all over the country. I'd be considered to be a 48 state OTR, over the road truck driver. What happens is I'll get load information on this. This is called a Qualcomm. Pretty much every truck has them. Probably 90% of the trucks have them, OTR trucks. And it's just a little mini computer with a hard polycarbonate shell. And the dispatchers that I work with in my large company that I work for will get an order from a major beer distributor, and they'll probably have hundreds of orders, maybe 1,000 orders a week, I don't know, but a lot for the entire country. So I've got an order tonight, so I'm going into St. Louis, and I'm picking up a load, and I'm going to drive it about 400 miles to Arkansas. Okay, so this place that I'm going to is a small distributor. They deliver beer to surrounding Little Rock area. So they place an order a few times a week or whatever into the main distributor. They get the beer, at a wholesale cost, and I deliver 45,000 pounds of beer to them. One driver, just myself, I'm going to deliver this beer to them, and I don't know how many other trucks they have going there. Let's just say 5, 10, 15, 20 a week. These are big, fairly large distributors. Okay, and this cycle just repeats itself. It's a simple cycle, but it just repeats itself time and time again. And this is just one product, right? I'm delivering beer. Now, most people are not on a dedicated route, so they'll go wherever they're dispatched to. Say company A has a load, they want to move from New Jersey to California. They'll call a few companies, get the best price, they'll book the load. My company will put it into the computer, and then they'll send it to me. They'll say go to New Jersey, let's say for instance Newark, and then take it to Los Angeles. They'll get X amount of dollars, I'll get X amount of dollars, everybody's happy. But what happens if the dollar becomes worthless? And they tell me to go and pick up the load in New Jersey and drive it to California. What am I going to do? I'm going to drive 3,000 miles for no pay. If the dollar becomes worthless, I'm not going to... What incentive do I have to drive it from point A to point B if the dollar is worthless? Well, how does the dollar become worthless? Well, it's well on its the road right now, right? We've got QE2, mortgage meltdown, on and on and on. You know the whole story. So my question is to you is who's gonna pay these truck drivers? There's nothing, absolutely nothing within your sight right now, wherever you're at, that hasn't gotten to your house by a truck. Not one single thing. Except for the dirt under your foundation, wherever you're at. That's the only thing that hasn't been moved by a truck. By the time the very first company produces the material to the time it reaches its destination, in most cases it's been moved around a whole bunch of times before it finally gets to its final destination from whatever. But there's 3 million truck drivers, right? What incentive are these guys going to have to move the products from point A to point B if the economy and the dollar collapses, martial law is declared, there's bank holidays, rioting starts to begin, people are protesting austerity, QE2, pensions, this and that, just like they are overseas. Things become really desperate. Who's going to move that food from the Walmart distribution centers to your local grocery stores? The drivers are not going to do it. You just think they're going to do it for no reason? When their families are, when they're taking a load from New Jersey to California, but they live in Tampa, and their families are being threatened by who knows what, martial law, panic, you think these people are going to want to sit and drive their trucks while their kids and their wives and the rest of their family might be in danger? No, they're not. You know what they're going to do? They're going to drive their truck to the nearest terminal or to the nearest truck stop or whatever, and they're going to have their wife come pick them up, and they're going to stay with their family to make sure their family is safe. They're not going to drive from point A to point B if they're not getting any monetary compensation for it, and if the monetary compensation they are getting for it is worthless, that just reaffirms my point, is they're not going to move your freight to the grocery stores. Do you understand that? Do you really understand that? Do you understand it's not about just an economic collapse and your silver and your gold and what you think? No, it's about simple-minded amoeba schmucks like myself who are killing ourselves out here for slave wages, working 70, 80 hours a week. Do you understand we're going to stop driving? What incentive am I going to have to drive from point A to point B for $0? I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home and get drunk, because I can't drink out here. I might even go home and start smoking weed. I might go get my medical marijuana card and my EBT card. Go to Walmart, get my beer, get my papers. I'm done. I can't do any of that stuff out here. I wouldn't dream of it, but I certainly can't. But I'd love to. I'd love to just to go home and start drinking beer and get my EBT card and get my papers. Maybe some granola bars. You see, the SDR is already in circulation. It's called the EBT card. It's called an ATM. There already is plastic virtual money out there. The EBT is the SDR. It was the pilot program for the SDR, and guess what? It works. They don't need a virtual currency. They already have one. The only way that you're going to be able to get a virtual currency, the New World Order might not be as evil as you think. See, if they can get you to a virtual currency, all they got to do is say, all right, Walmart, the dollar's worthless here. We need you, Walmart, to convert totally to this EBT card, to this virtual currency, and we'll provide you the services that you need. You can start paying your truck drivers in virtual dollars, and instead of having millions of people starve to death, very few people starve to death. All you got to do is take the mark of the beast and the SDR and get your food. You know, I'm being facetious here, but kind of not. It's a virtual currency. It's already there. And my camera only goes for 10 minutes, so if you want to hear more of this garbage, please tune in.